Facing the truth in Lauren Boebert's startling immigration facts. Why was Lauren Boebert such a jerk to CPR's Ryan Warner? September 29th commentary. In condemning Repever Lauren Boebert's poor behavior, Megan Schrader minimizes some important facts and data. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) has a lot of encounters with people attempting to enter the country illegally. CBP encounters are defined as any encounter of a removable non-citizen by CBP or U.S. Border Patrol. In other words, interactions with someone who is not supposed to be in the country. CBP has recorded nearly 9 million such encounters along the southwest land border since fiscal year 2021. Many illegal entrants evade CBP detection entirely. In June 2024, Border Patrol recorded 88,612 total encounters along the southwest land border, 83,536 of which were between ports of entry. Under Title 8 of U.S. Code, it is illegal to cross the U.S. border between ports of entry. Lawful asylum seekers need to apply at a port of entry. Illegal entry is punishable by a fine or jail time, or both. Though asylum seekers receive temporary legal status while their claims are evaluated, an asylum claim doesn't invalidate prior illegal entry into the country. President Biden's June presidential proclamation on securing the border further stressed the importance of lawful asylum processes by generally revoking asylum eligibility for those who enter the country illegally. It's also worth noting that U.S. embassies are not ports of entry, and publicly available CBP encounter data is tracked nationwide, not worldwide. I appreciate Megan Schrader's synopsis of Ryan Warner's interview of Lauren Boebert. Schrader closes with, "Mean and angry must just be who Boebert really is." I am not sure if Boebert really is mean and angry, but I have seen overwhelming evidence of her shocking lack of knowledge on a wide variety of issues, such as manners and basic decency toward many of her fellow citizens, including the president. I have to assume that, like a handful of others who have managed to capture the public eye in recent years, she uses anger and blaming to distract conversations and incite chaos and vitriol in order to try to hide her staggeringly subpar intellect and work ethic. And I'm not sure if this is to her credit or not, but like in so many other areas, she's not very good at it. Who and what Boebert really is anyone's guess. But especially in times like these, Colorado deserves better representation in Congress. We can do so much better than Boebert. Council pulls out of Access Project, September 29th news story. Westminster's decision to not provide funds to help access Rocky Flats National Wildlife Refuge is nonsensical, if not cynical. The city's Westminster Hills open space is on the east side of Indiana Street, a few feet from the boundary of the former nuclear bomb factory. Assuming there is a serious threat from plutonium or other radioactive material emanating from Rocky Flats, and there has been only one soil sample that indicates any concern, the threat would be present on Westminster's open space property due to the ferocious westerly winds, which would carry radioactive contaminants across Indiana Street onto Westminster's property. If, as Westminster Councilman Obi Ezeadi asserts, the city has a moral obligation to not provide funding because people hiking or biking in the area for a few hours may be exposed to radioactive contamination, it must also have the moral obligation to close Westminster Hills open space to any visitors. If the fear of impacts to human health from radioactive material is so serious, then Westminster may also want to help pay to relocate the hundreds of people who have recently bought homes around the perimeter of Rocky Flats. As we approach the upcoming election, it is imperative that candidates up and down the ballot prioritize childcare. The average cost of childcare for 2 kids is now higher than the average cost of rent in all 50 states, pushing 40% of families with young children into debt. Here in Colorado, infant care is more expensive than college tuition. For my family with 2 kids, we are spending more than $30,000 annually just on childcare, forcing us to make hard trade-offs that impact our well-being, mental health, careers, and education possibilities. During this election season, we hear candidates talk about putting families first, but we need real policy solutions that ensure that families like mine aren't forced to make impossible choices between caring for our families and putting food on the table. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. 89% of voters want candidates to have a plan to help working parents afford high-quality child care. underscoring the broad, bipartisan support for addressing the child care crisis. I urge presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump to commit to prioritizing child care in their first 100 days if elected. It's time for our leaders to answer moms across the country who are calling for affordable, accessible, and quality child care. Our families, businesses, and our children's futures all depend on it. Voters face 2 tax increase questions. September 29 news story. Denver voters, can you for once show some fiscal restraint and defeat the 2 ballot measures that would raise the total sales tax to 9.65%? Outsiders who come into the city want no part of paying nearly $1 in sales tax per $10 in purchases at Denver restaurants and sports entertainment venues.